Jack Kerouac, he drank himself to death in New England, and I'd like to take his hand and say, Jack, man, it's okay. Now he's gone, and we're left to move on without him. The songs howl like being poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.
Welcome to Talkin VAWLS, episode number 71, brought to you by the Outright Geekery podcast at outrightgeekery.com. We are also live on YouTube via the SMB network. Make sure you guys go ahead and
smash it.
You know what to do. You know what to do. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And I'm Balls JP.
I'm Dauber. What's happening?
We got JJ Banks hanging out in the live chat. St. Louis is here. St. Louis says 6-1. Told y'all. Robert Neal's here. Bryant Rockwell hanging out. IC86 said I already smashed it. Barbecue Gravy wants to know what he's smashing. He says the show hasn't even started yet. Thank you guys for joining us once again for Talkin VAWLS. I've not seen Kenny Ashby in the live chat, but I would say he'll check this. He'll probably listen later if he doesn't show up. But I want to apologize to him for the Kentucky game. He did a super chat. I believe he did it before we even went live. So I never saw it. I think he did it before we actually started the stream. So I apologize to him for missing that super chat, but we definitely appreciate the support. And thanks for letting us know, because that's my bad. Sometimes it's hard when so much is going on and coming through. So we appreciate that. Let's just come out of the gates on fire, man. It feels odd. It felt odd this past week because of that extra bye week, late in the season. But for me, it came at a perfect time for this Tennessee football team. And even Pruitt said in the press conference this week, probably the healthiest they've been all season. So I think that's key going into these final two games. But I dropped a video yesterday. I want to ask you guys what you think. It was about these last two games. Is 6 wins enough? Do you think 6 wins is enough? I know that's the end game, right? You got to win 6, get to a bowl game. That's a huge thing for this football team. But for you and for Jeremy Pruitt and the future of this program, is 6 enough? Or is 6 going to leave a bad taste in your mouth and he has to win 7 games?
I think at the beginning of the season, we said, the ceiling, I said 9 wins. Because looking at this team, looking at the talent they have, I really thought that they could come out the gate and play really well. We had poor quarterback play, really the first half of the season. But ultimately, I think the goal was improvement upon last year. So that is getting to that 6, getting a bowl game, because let's face it, this is a young team. You get that extra practice. It's not necessarily just a bowl game. The bowl game is a reward for the team, a reward for the fans, but it's that extra month of practices that this coaching staff can use to continue to develop these players and move forward as a springboard into next year. And that's, I don't want to blame last year's tailspin and fall off at the end of the year into how we started this year, because there's really no excuses for how we started this year. But if you look at it, it goes back to the way we ended last year.
JP, do I have to introduce you? I mean, what do you think?
No, I was just making sure. I was just making sure that Dauber was done.
And for me, it's like I said, I know a bowl game is important to the team. My fear is with 6. where's the mindset of this football team going into year 3? I think if you can win 7 and even go all in and win that bowl game, the momentum you carry into year 3 is so crucial. And we're already doing it now. We're already looking back to BYU. We're already looking back to Georgia State and saying what could have been. And I think for this team to turn the corner, you have to win the games you're supposed to win. And I know Tennessee's what, a 4-point underdog to Missouri, but this is still a game we expect them to win. That's where I'm coming from. But what do you think, JP? Is 6 enough? And that comes from a conversation I had with DA a couple of days ago. And he's like, just win 6, just win 1 or 2. That's all. No, I want both. I want to be greedy. I want both of them.
Yeah. And that's what I said last week when Dauber and I done the basketball, and we were kind of hit off on the football there at the end. Now I want 7, and I'm going to be disappointed if we don't win 7, because I definitely think that Tennessee's a better football team than Missouri and certainly Vanderbilt. And, we go back to looking at the way the season started, and I know that we shouldn't, but it's hard not to. And to think that if this team could find a way to finish 7-5, you got to feel like that, that we're on the right track there, especially with the way that this season started and how this team, many of us, including myself, figured that the season was already over with two weeks in. So, to me, it would be absolutely huge to finish 7-5. 6-6, yes. I mean, ultimately the goal is to make a bowl game, and that's what I even said at the beginning of the season. But now when I come down to it and it's 5-5, and knowing that how bad that Missouri has played the last month of football, and how good or how much better that Tennessee has, and then the fact that Vanderbilt is just a really bad football team, this team, in my opinion, should finish 7-5. And I know that it's going to be a tough game Saturday. I fully expect that. But this team needs to come out again. And like you said, Boogie, this set up perfect for Tennessee, with Missouri playing Georgia and Florida back-to-back weeks. Tennessee coming off a bye. They should be rested and, as healthy as you possibly can be going into your 11th game of the season. So, Tennessee should be ready for this football game. And in my opinion, we've talked about it that the progressions and the steps that Pruitt needs to take with this program. And, I know that we've struggled with Missouri since they really came into the conference and everything. And I know that Missouri's won the East, two times, I think, and have really excelled a lot more than any of us probably ever thought that they would once they joined the SEC. But in my opinion, that's still a program that going forward that we need to lump in with the Kentuckys and the South Carolinas and the Vanderbilts and the Mississippi States. And that's where we said that Tennessee needed to get to, that we needed to start consistently beating those teams. And yes, we have beat some of those teams this year, but we need to continue that and finish this season strong. And just the thought of thinking that this football team could actually make it to potentially the Gator Bowl, or even back down in Tampa, to the Outback Bowl. I mean, I've even heard that might be a possibility if Tennessee finished 7-5. With the way that team started and the way that Pruitt has been able, and the coaching staff has been able to get this team to buy in, because I think that's one huge thing that maybe people are overlooking there, is the way that he's been able to get this team to buy in after this rough start. And if they could finish 7-5 and make it to a bowl game, whether it be in Tampa or Jacksonville, whatever, I think would be huge.
We got 53 of our closest friends hanging out in the live chat. Make sure you do us a favor. Do smash that like button. Share out the link. We know the basketball team's playing tonight. We thought that might hurt attendance.
Like
Plus
9-6 Vols right now early.
Plus, coming off of a bye week is usually a downtime for the podcast anyway. But we got 53 of you hanging out, so help us out. Smash the like button. Share out the link. This football team is exactly where they were last year. Exactly where they were last year, with a chance to go 7-5 and make it to a bowl game. And we all know how that ended. They got embarrassed in Neyland Stadium, and then they crumbled and fell apart against Vanderbilt. And so somebody said, talking about, even if you lose to Missouri, Vanderbilt's terrible. But I saw him talking about it in the live chat. What would have lost to Missouri do to this football team? How much would it hurt their confidence going into
put
that?
A ton of pressure on you.
Yeah,
to
a
win,
whole
you know?
lot of pressure. Our good friend Hopkins lacrosse fan is here. It wouldn't be Talkin VAWLS without a $5 super chat from Hopkins lacrosse fan. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. It says, Boogie, prepare to have your mind blown. But this one is not about JP. Dauber is rocking the fresh hat. Love it. Looks good,
hurt,
man.
Hopkins, I'm hurt.
Yeah, we're going to have to hear about that. Dauber will be bragging. I'm not as concerned with JP's feelings being hurt as much as I will have to listen to Dauber for the next week. But we do appreciate the support.
I'm just kidding. You're cool.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
You're good people. We appreciate the support. JJ Banks says we are much better than last year, Boogie.
Yeah.
Are we? You're only as good as your record shows. We'll find out. And that's something else that I talked about in the video that I dropped is for Pruitt to turn the corner. He has to win the games he's supposed to. And that's looking back to the sour taste we had in our mouth last year. What could have been, coulda, shoulda, woulda. That's life as a Tennessee fan for the last 10 years. What could have been.
I think this team is more prepared, and I think they are stronger physically, and I think they are a better team mentally than they were last year. One more year into this system, I just said since really the Bama game, the way that this team has been trending, the improvements that have been made on both front ends, on the offensive line, on the defensive line, just the way that this team has been focused and played this second half of the season, I think that I said it before we went up to Lexington. I said if this team can go up there focused and get a win on the road, I think that we will win out. And I still feel that way. I know that Saturday is going to be tough. I really had hoped it was going to be, the noon or the 3:30 game, because night games are always tough on the road. Road games are tough in general, but night road games, you got the fans. They can get nice and oiled up all day long in the parking lots before they come in. And
going on the road to Missouri too, because as bad as they are, what are they, 5-1 at home?
We've won once there, I believe. Isn't that right?
I think JP talking about struggling against Missouri. I think Tennessee's 2-5 against them since they joined the conference.
We are,
and we have
been
only
blowed
won
out.
Yeah.
I mean the games that we've lost haven't even been competitive.
But you've got to look at where they are. I saw Blitz 621 made a comment earlier. We were talking about the bye week, and he said bye weeks can also kill momentum. And that is true. But we were at a point, we had a lot of people banged up, a lot of people playing. I mean, heck, Garantano's playing with a broken hand. You got linebackers with knee braces on. Our offensive line is back to, shuffling guys around and all that. So I think it really came at a good time to get healthy. But I look at Missouri, and did you guys see the comments from Dooley this week talking about their offense and how stagnant it's been?
Yeah.
And he said they're in an offensive hell or whatever it was he said.
Well, they scored 13 points in their last three games, I think.
Yeah. So, I know it was a tough stretch for them, and all. The line opened up, I think, at 6.5, and has dropped to. I think it immediately almost dropped to 5, and I think today it was 4.5, something like that. I think we are trending up, and Missouri is kind of waffling. Kind of in the situation we were last year after we dropped the game to them, when we played Vandy at home, they've kind of packed it in and don't really want to be there.
They can't go to a bowl this year because they got that bowl ban for those violations that they got hit for. So,
Right.
So I mean, for them, it's just playing for pride at this point in time. I mean, that's all that they're doing. What about the angle with Pruitt and Odom? I mean, Odom was all over, basically calling Pruitt out back there in the spring. After Missouri got hit with those sanctions and they had that bowl ban, and supposedly Odom was accusing Pruitt of reaching out to the players on the team, trying to get some of them to consider transferring, and he didn't like that. I mean, you guys think that may have some I mean, obviously, anything that trash talk or anything like that, only takes you so far. But I wouldn't imagine that Pruitt's probably not brought that up a time or two these last couple of weeks in practices and stuff with these kids.
Yeah.
I mean, just probably anything to try to just get them, to keep them going. And I mean, I still think that you have to like the fact that, Pruitt's got 2 weeks to prepare for this offense.
That's what I like. An offense that's struggling, a Tennessee defense that has gotten better and better as the years gone on. That's what I like. I love Pruitt getting that extra week to scheme up this Missouri team that's already struggling.
I really think that it'll come, that it'll probably be another low scoring game, similar to what we saw at Kentucky. And, can Tennessee limit the penalties, limit the mistakes, limit turnovers, and try to force Missouri's offense to, put some points up on the board. And, it might be the first team to 20 wins, it might be the first team to 17 wins.
I see 86 says the offensive line still a huge question mark. Mark Wilson follows it up and says we have to run the ball better. And that's something, man, they were talking about it on VolQuest this week, talking about maybe some of the blame falls on the running backs. But I think the offensive line is definitely a part of this team that benefited from the bye week, trying to get healthy. I still don't know, right. He's practicing, right, but they acted like he's still limited.
Limited, yeah. That's what I read.
I think
this evening.
He's running with the second team. Everything I've read this week.
Yeah. So I mean, there's certainly still some questions there. It looks like probably Jameer Johnson will probably be back for us, with that. But how odd is it that this offensive line seemed to have probably one of their better games against Alabama?
Yeah.
I mean, and what's happened to Tim Jordan since that game too? I mean, we all came out of that Bama game saying that Jordan had taken over the top spot at running back, and I mean was running hard, and just go back and look at that run there. I think in the third quarter where they, the offensive line helped him push that ball for a first down and stuff like that. So, I mean, the last couple of games, it's just like that. The offensive line just hasn't been there. So. But they better show up Saturday, because I mean that's one place that Missouri does excel, and that's their defensive line, and I think they got a pretty good secondary too. So we certainly need to keep the quarterback, which it sounds like or appears to be that'll probably be Garantano that'll get the nod. So can he continue to build upon the success that he's had the last couple of weeks?
What'd you think about Pruitt saying, "Yeah, we've picked a starter, but we're not"? It's
not going to say.
It's not. We're going to let you know at game time.
I think that's what he's been doing all season. He's known. It's coach speaking. That's fine. What do you think he does though? I think Garantano has earned his way back onto the field. I think he has.
I mean,
but if it's working to start somebody else, if it's working to start Maurer and then bring him in, I don't care, man. I don't care, but I think Garantano has earned the right to get back on the field. It's funny watching the live chat from week to week, and they're as bad as us. We're 1 week Maurer's the best, 1 week Garantano's the best. We don't know. We don't know what we're going to get on Saturday.
Yeah. What I like is he's been 65% completion over this win streak. He's like 31 of 48. 471 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 pick. And in the first 3 games, he threw 4 picks. I mean, he's taking care of the ball. He's not trying to do too much. You see those balls that he puts up in the Kentucky game. He put them only where his receivers could get, and that's what he did last year. It's funny though. It's like night and day. The play that he had in the first half of the season to now, and I don't know if it's coming off the bench. He gets maybe mentally he doesn't have that pressure at being the starter, or if it's seeing a series and getting in the flow. But man, we've said it before. Redshirt junior, been in the program as long as he's been in, started as many games as he started, as much playing time as he has, and it's such a weird thing. Quarterback should not. It wasn't even a question going into this year, and it's been our biggest hang up.
Thought it was going to be a strength, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that we'll see him start from the onset this week. I think part of that, South Carolina was to, shield him from the boos, being named the starter if he started, and all that jazz. And then obviously, I mean, the plan was to start Maurer, obviously at Kentucky, because he played the whole first half, but he just wasn't getting the job done. So then they went to Garantano. So, I feel like that this week, I think with Pruitt already coming out and saying that he knows who the starter is going to be, I'll be shocked if Maurer was to get the nod, since it's an away game. I think that with the way that Garantano led the team back 2 weeks ago against Kentucky in the second half, I think that he'll get the starting nod. And yeah, I mean, can he just continue to grow from the way that he has these last couple of games? But we certainly need him to, because I think that there's some opportunities for us to exploit them passing. I'd imagine that it's going to be much harder to probably run, but at the same time, we're going to have to provide some pass protections, because we certainly can't get Garantano beat up, or certainly if they put Maurer in with all the injuries that he's had as well with that. But we just need to find a way to win. We need this defense to continue to play excellent football, and get some turnovers, and just don't give up anything cheap.
Yeah, don't give up anything cheap, and they need to find a way to capitalize in the red zone.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to kick field goals. I think scoring opportunities are going to be limited in this game. So if you get in the red zone, you have to capitalize. You got to find a way to punch it in for 6. Settling for field goals, I don't think is going to win this game. And I hope you're right. I think if the defense can force some turnovers, obviously, I think that's going to be a huge factor in the game.
Did you guys see or read what Callaway said earlier in the week about Garantano?
No.
He was asked a question about him playing and all that, and then I'm pretty sure it was worded directly. Did you all lose faith in him? And he didn't come out and directly said it, but he said, if we weren't behind him, he knows we are now.
Ooh, wow.
So, and I think that there were some tensions, and you saw it. You saw when Maurer got the start. You saw that that
energy. It was the energy,
that it factor that the team responded with, and then especially after the fumble at Bama and him going rogue and all that. But then he steps up and apologizes to the team, to the coaching staff. He's and what I like is that group of 3. We'll throw Shrout in there as well. All 3 of them are saying the right things. all three of them are on the sidelines. They're the first ones out to high five and celebrate with the other quarterbacks. And that they're all saying, we don't care who starts, who comes in, who's doing what. We just want to all help the team to win. And that's a really uncommon, at least public way that those guys are reacting to it. And it's a far cry from Garantano. The first image we saw of him in the Tennessee Orange pouting on the sidelines against Georgia Tech. It's that maturity and that becoming a team player. And I think a lot of that kind of is a result of him getting benched.
Yeah. I like, there was a good picture that came out. I don't remember which game it was. All three of them hugging after the game. I think, they all seem like team guys. Even Garantano, man. I felt like he looked more like a leader when he was on the bench than he does when he's in the game. He's usually the first guy to congratulate Maurer when he makes a play.
And that's funny. What were we saying at the beginning of the season? Where is his leadership?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been
strange, man. It's strange.
I said it. I mean, it has been absolutely crazy, the quarterback play. I mean, really, honestly, it's really amazing, in my opinion, that we're sitting here 5-5 with what this team has had to endure as far as, at the quarterback play. I mean, it's just crazy.
No doubt. Crazy. I mean, the last 4 games, 5 games.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, how can you figure you go 4-1, shuffling quarterbacks in and out?
Yeah, I mean, it has.
Starting 4 different guys, counting Jennings. I mean, granted, that was kind of gimmicky, and he didn't really play quarterback, but technically you have started 4 different guys in 5 games and won 4 of them. Yeah,
and 2 of them, you won with a quarterback that had a broken hand.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically he was, what did he do? Tweet out that picture of old Club, off of Happy Gilmore or whatever, with that. So, but it is. I mean, it's been crazy to me to see that, because I don't think that happens often, that you see a team that has as much quarterback issues, as this football team has had, for them to be able to win 4 of their last 5 games. But, we're still waiting on this offense to gel. I mean, and certainly the fact that we've shuffled quarterbacks like that, I'm sure that has a huge part in that. But just the fact that we haven't been able to do a complete game on offense. And again, I go back to that Bama game. To me, and that's what's so crazy about it, I felt like that is the best that this offense has played all year long. I really do. I felt like that to me, that offense was in a rhythm. It was in a rhythm. It started out good. And, yes, we had the stupid thing there at the end, but, we were 1 yard away from making it a 8-point game, with 8 or 9 minutes to go. So that night is the best that I can honestly say that I felt like that this offense played.
But and we talked about it during that game and following the game the next week. We had such a bad taste in our mouth because we were so close to doing what nobody gave us a chance to do, and we played so well that it was in our grasps, and that shows you the potential of this team when we do play up to our ceiling, when the talent and the execution mesh.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. I thought that the offense with Maurer, I thought that they would take off. At the Kentucky game, I think I predicted it on here like 38-13 or something like that, which I was way off on that. But I just felt like that Maurer coming back and the way that he ran that offense before he got hurt against Alabama. But I just don't know that Maurer's going to get the job back away from JG unless JG goes back to his old self again. And let's hope that that doesn't happen because, we've all been on record of saying we don't care who the quarterback is, just win the football game. I mean, that's all that you're after is just win that football game. So, who knows now? I mean, a month ago, all of us was sitting here saying that, where's JG going to play at next year? Could he come back to Tennessee? I mean, I think it's certainly possible. I mean, I think that if he comes out and he plays well these next two games and Tennessee wins and then makes it to a bowl game and possibly wins that and finishes 8-5, I think that I think Pruitt's begging him to stay. I think Pruitt and Chaney are begging him to come back for his senior year, fifth year.
I think he stays anyway. I really do. If he feels he has the potential to compete and be the quarterback next year. I mean, don't you think he would want to finish out his career at Tennessee? I get it if Maurer, took over the job and never looked back. I could see, I want to go somewhere and try to play. But at this point, it's his job to lose again. It is.
Now, barring him graduating early, he'd have to sit because he's already used a red shirt.
Well, I mean, he's going to be a grad transfer next year if he does leave. I mean, that's what he's going to do.
Right.
A lot of people in the chat. I saw it earlier. Now I see it again. Might have been the same person. Barbecue Gravy says that JG's gone after this year unless he wants to sit behind a freshman. Man, I almost feel sorry for Harrison Bailey because this fan base is building him up as the next Peyton Manning, and the kid's never taken a snap in college football. We don't know that he's going to come in and be great. I hope he is. I hope he comes in and he's a world beater and starts from day one and we never look back. But we don't know. We don't know until he gets here. So that's a bold statement.
And I mean, that's the thing with football, though. You look at Tua last week, scrambling, trying to make a play, going down, and he may be done. There's a lot of people comparing that to Bo Jackson, and Bo tried to make a comeback, and he was never the same after his hip injury. But man, it's any given Sunday. I don't know. I mean, he certainly has a chance. I saw Butch's name getting thrown around with the Arkansas job. But I don't know.
Maybe somehow I'll hire him. I saw where Shiano's about ready to get the job up Rutgers again, but now there's some advocacy group that's trying to boycott that. Where he was, supposedly tied to all that stuff at Penn State. So I don't know. He may be ruined forever.
They probably don't have the influence of Vol Twitter.
Oh no,
yeah,
no.
We can shut down a hire real quick. That was one of our most viewed episodes up until we started going live when the Shiano hire got shut down. JP, what's the basketball score real quick?
Right now, I'm showing 20-15. Vols are struggling bad, but it looks like what little bit I've been able to see, it looks like that they've playing a bunch of different players tonight. I think last week or Saturday, I didn't get to watch the game, but Saturday against Washington, where they beat them, they only played 7 players. So it looks like that Barnes is trying to get some of those freshmen some minutes tonight against Alabama State.
I had read that's what he was kind of planning on doing was going deep into the bench and trying to set his rotation and find who
trying to get some more of these kids to play. Some more minutes. And, because, I mean, obviously it's probably going to be tough to have a short bench like that, 7, you probably need at least 8, possibly 9. But
little bit of news on the basketball front. when we face Memphis here in a few days, they'll be without Wiseman. NCAA ruled out, I think it was 12-game suspension for him. So, sorry for Memphis State High School Tigers there.
Yeah, it's still not a bad deal for them, really, though.
So I was going to say, so you can get a paycheck. Your coach still coaches, and you only have to sit out a few games.
And then he has to donate that 11,500 to the charity of his choice. Now,
so where's he getting that at?
Where is he going to get $11,000?
Somebody's going to cut him another check.
Penny going to write him another one, right?
Allegedly. Guys, we got 70 hanging out in the live chat. We thought it'd be a down night, bye week basketball game. Make sure you guys do smash the like button. You can share out the link. We would appreciate it. Got some news this week, man. You guys want to do the Talkin VAWLS meet and greet? No, I'm not going to give out any details until everything's ironed out and official, but I did talk to a local business, and they've agreed for the home opener next year. We'll do a meet and greet and watch along. So we'll get together. I was thinking maybe like an hour before kickoff, get together, hang out, drink a couple of beers, meet you guys, chat. And then with it being, the opening game, hopefully, good Lord, hopefully after this year, I probably shouldn't say this. Hopefully it'll be a stress-free environment. We can watch the game and have a good time together. But looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. Again, it'll be the first game next year. We'll remind you guys when the time comes around.
Who do we open up with next year?
Charlotte, isn't it?
Is it Charlotte?
I think so.
I don't even know. That's bad of me to not even know who we open up with. I know that we
go
to Oklahoma early in the year.
Yeah.
I think the second game of the season, maybe. We travel to Norman. I may try to go to that one. I've always thought that'd be a cool place to go to watch a football game.
September the 5th, Charlotte.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be a good stress-free game. We can meet and chat with you guys. The Talkin VAWLS faithful, the Talkin VAWLS Nation. We need a nickname for you guys. I'll come up with something. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us on this Wednesday night. But do smash that like button. JP, let's get into the old recruiting roundup. And I'm springing this on you. I think again the importance of winning these last two games. What will that do for recruiting? But where are they at right now? Where do you think we finish up? What do you got for us this week?
Well, we got 18 commits right now. I think on Rivals, that puts us 18th in the country as far as ranking goes. So we signed 25, so we got 7 spots. Can we hold on to the ones that we've got? I think that Callaway kid, the wide receiver, I think he's one that's kind of been flirting around with some other teams, so he might be one to watch that we could potentially lose. I did hear that sounds like that Tyler Barron announced that that he's made a decision, and he is supposed to announce on early signing. What is that? The 18th of December, I believe it is. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's when Barron said that he was going to announce. I'm not sure if that's the actual early signing period date or not, but sometime there in the middle of next month. So we're right at a month away before the Vols can start signing these kids, and looks like that they're in pretty good shape with that Octavius Oxidine kid. He's another 4-star defensive lineman, and then you've got Omari Thomas from down there in the Memphis area. Sounds like that he's going to be one of those that probably goes down to the wire, and I'm not even for sure if he's planning on signing during the early period or not, but certainly would be big if we could get all 3 of those kids. Sounds like probably the only shot that the Vols have this year at maybe securing a 5-star is that Washington kid, from Las Vegas, 5-star tight end. Looks like that's coming down probably to Tennessee, I think Alabama and Georgia. So certainly, swimming with the Sharks there. I think that he is supposedly possibly going to come and take his final visit to Tennessee or Miami. I don't think that he's come out and actually said which one it is, but I think with that, and of course we lost Ojalar BJ Ojolari to LSU, and he decommitted there a couple weeks ago. I read that Pruitt was still on him, and still at least that he is communicating with him. So who knows what may end up happening there with that. And then I guess they've got that other kid from Las Vegas that's coming in. That's a Nevada commit. That Viacajo, I guess is how you pronounce his name. His brother is a sophomore at Alabama, and Pruitt. And I guess maybe who all was down there with Pruitt at that time was Scherer down there, maybe, or something. But supposedly Pruitt has some connections there with him. He's not highly rated because supposedly that he didn't do much camps or anything like that. But Pruitt's really high on him, and he's coming in for the Vandy game on an official visit. He's currently committed to Nevada, so if Pruitt likes him, and the fact that he's committed to Nevada, you kind of like Tennessee's chances there. Certainly I don't know anything much about Nevada's football program and what their complex looks like and stuff like that, but I couldn't imagine that it would be anything what he's going to see down to UT next week. And then a couple of more. They've got that Morvell Joseph. He's currently a commit for Florida State, which who knows what's going to happen there as far as their coaching hire goes. But supposedly he's coming in for a visit next week too. He's a defensive end. So I think, obviously the biggest needs for Tennessee, certainly need to hold on to who we have. And then can we find somebody probably from the junior college ranks? Can we find us a game breaking type running back? We'd really like to have another wide receiver. I know that I think Tyus Jones Bell is his name. He's actually commit to Alabama. I think that he's been one that's kind of been flirting with Tennessee, but realistically, is he going to decommit to Tennessee decommit to Bama and pick Tennessee? The only way, that would probably happen is if maybe Bama gets on somebody else and they tell him to look around, possibly with that. But and then probably, we're probably going to try to take all kinds of defensive linemen, if anybody wants in as far as that goes with that. So it's kind of what's going on with recruiting. With this early signing period, it's really changed it because these kids make their decisions and a lot quicker, and that's unfortunately the way that this season started out. I think that those two losses to start this season, I think somebody mentioned about Savell Smalls, from what I gathered, there's nothing going on there. So with him, and that Lenneth Whitehead sounds like, that Tennessee has a really good chance with him as well. See that being mentioned out there in the chat. But, what Boogie was saying as far as, winning these last two games, if Tennessee can do that, certainly, that's not going to hurt, obviously. That's what this program needs, but it's probably not going to vault Tennessee back in with some of these high 4-star and these 5-star kids that, that they were talking to back in the summer before the season started. But, can that propel them to gain some momentum for the 2021 class then?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why it's so crucial. It's why I keep saying that. I keep beating the ground. 6 ain't enough. 6 wins in a bowl game is not enough at this point. But because of the way the season started, it's not a good look for Pruitt being the guy. And I got excited when I dropped that video yesterday, man. I'm starting to get real close to buying in. I'm so close. And I told myself I was not going to do that with Pruitt. I've done it too many times. It's almost embarrassing when you get on Facebook and you have memories coming up of defending Butch Jones and defending Dooley till the end of the earth. And I said I wasn't going to do it with Pruitt. He's got to prove it to me. And I think if he can find a way to get this team ready and win these last 2 games, go win a bowl game, I'm going to be out of control this offseason. I'm going to be all in next year. I'm going to be like Dauber, claiming they're going to win 9 and 10 games. But if they drop one of these next 2, it's, man, talk about the jury still being out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know it is, and you know this 2020 class that Tennessee's getting ready to sign. Yeah, I mean maybe if we finish with Tyler Barron, Oxstein, Omari Thomas, maybe Darnell Washington, maybe Tennessee can sneak up to probably 12th, 13th, 14th, probably. Overall, that's probably going to put you about 7th or 8th in the SEC, though. So,
That's
I mean,
exactly what I was going to say. I
yeah.
mean,
So,
you look at that objectively. Oh yeah, top 20. That's good. But when you're behind 7, 8, 9 other teams in your conference,
yeah.
it, it's middle of the road stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it is, and that's why that, when Fulmer had this program, playing at levels that he'd really never played at before, we were finishing in the top 5 every single year,
Yep.
in recruiting. And then when he started tailing off, we were finishing, in the high teens and in the low 20s. So, that's just the way that it goes. But, I'm right there with you, Boogie. I mean, I definitely feel like that this, and I've said it for a long time. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt is a football coach. He is a fine football coach.
But is he the guy?
Is he the guy? And is he a head coach? That's what it all's going to come down to. And but this recruiting class, if we keep the kids that we got signed, and then we're able to sign some of these that we just talked about, and again finish 12th, 13th, 14th, overall, can that class help us get to the next level? And instead of finishing 7-5, potentially, let's just say if we finish 7-5 this year, can that class help us get to 8-4 next year, or possibly 9-3, and then you sign your 2021 class, and maybe that you go from 13th overall in the nation to maybe 10th or maybe 9th, and then that gets you back up there to where you win 9 or 10 football games, and then at that point in time, it's. But again, he can't have any slip ups like he had to start
Right.
the 2019 season. I mean,
right. That's why when we talk about it's a rebuild, we know it's a rebuild. We know it's going to take time, but it's the little things that you can't. It's like you said, you can't let happen. You can't let Georgia State happen if you're going to continue to move this program forward.
But that's the thing. This isn't like basketball. You can't flip a team
right
with one recruiting cycle. But I don't think it was necessarily solely the team that needed to change. This was more than just that. This was a complete culture change that Pruitt took on. He came in, and this team, one of the first things he said was, this team doesn't know how to practice. What kind of indictment is that to the former staff, to those players who are looking to be mentored and developed? And he comes in and says, here we have guys that have been in the program, juniors, seniors, guys that have been in the program. They don't know how to practice at a collegiate level. And that's why you're going out and you're getting pushed around by teams like Appy State and ETSU, for that matter. You're losing games that you shouldn't be because of the fact that you're Tennessee, and you just don't do that. But the culture had changed so much from what it was, and that's why I was a fan of the Pruitt hire. I didn't like that he didn't have any experience as a head coach, but I liked that he had been in the SEC in big boy football. I mean, you look at the last 3 coaches and you look at where they'd been before. Nobody had that SEC experience. And I don't care what you say, it is different playing football in the SEC versus playing wherever else. And Pruitt knew that. He knows what it takes. He is such his focus is on recruiting, and then he has done the thing that I think made Fulmer so successful. surrounded himself with other top elite coaches. And he's doing what Butch didn't do, letting
What Butch
those
said,
guys
what Butch said he was going to do.
letting those guys coach. And I think you see that more so this year. He's kind of turned it over to Chaney, and he's granted he has the final call on plays and stuff. And did you see where that was Chaney came out and said, that was Jeremy's call on the bootleg with Garantano. That wasn't Chaney that called that.
Oh wow.
And he came right out and said that. He said, I'm not going to take credit for something I didn't call.
Wow.
But I think that this staff, that's the thing, that coming off the year we had and the hires that we were able to make, Ansley from the Raiders, getting Chaney from Georgia, bringing T in. I mean, you're talking about elite recruiters, and you see that's the focus. And I read some stuff about Pruitt this week, some things that he's talked about. The fact that's what he's there to do is mentor these young men and make them better, help them in football, but not just in football, in life. And he it is coach speak, but he is doing and saying all the right things. Yeah, the first of the year started off the way none of us wanted to, none of us expected. But at the end of the day, he was 12 games into his head coaching career at that point. And to this point, I got to say, I think he's learned from it. I think he's learned that you have to game plan for every game, because even those small schools, they're going to come in and you're going to get their best shot, because that's their bowl game. That's their big game of the year. And it's just, I think Pruitt, and like we talked about earlier, this team has bought in, and this team has turned that corner. And like JP hit on that recruiting right there. It is a cycle. You hope. We're down in scholarship athletes. We can't pick them all up this cycle. Numbers wise, you can only sign 25. That's the new NCAA rules. We're not going to be back up to even and all that. It is going to take a couple classes to do that, but I think that's where this staff will excel, is taking what we have, developing, and putting the talent on the field that gives us the best opportunity to win.
Spot on, Dauber. Spot on, buddy. Let's go beat the Mizzou Tigers.
Absolutely.
We got 73 hanging out in the live chat. No one special dislocated his shoulder, smashing the like button. So you guys pick him up, put him on your back, carry him through, make sure you help him smash that like button.
About dislocated my shoulder at the gym the other morning too.
Jim, you're back at the gym?
Yeah.
What happened to the home gym, man?
I need a little motivation, so.
You can't get motivated to walk down the steps and lift some weights?
No, that's my problem.
Matt Griffith says, dare I say, Talkin VAWLS Bowl Special. That's something we got to talk about, because I do want you guys still covering basketball. We'll have to figure out the schedule after the Vanderbilt game, what we're going to do moving forward to the bowl game. We're definitely going to cover it. JP and Dauber are going to continue covering basketball. You guys did a great job. I was sitting upstairs listening the whole time. You guys did awesome. So we'll keep that rolling. We're going to keep this Talkin VAWLS train moving, keep growing, getting bigger. Anybody that's come in late, I mentioned earlier, we are definitely doing a meet and greet, and we're going to watch the game with you guys. We've got it at a local establishment. Once we iron out all the details with them, we'll let you guys know, but we're going to do it for the opener next year against Charlotte. So looking forward to that coming together and giving you guys the details as we do that. I guess we're going to make some predictions here and take this thing home, wrap it up. Missouri on the road. A lot of people in the chat saying, oh, we're going to kill Missouri. I'm afraid I'm about to pick with my heart instead of how I truly feel in my mind, and that's not good. But JB, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you got? What do you got? Tennessee, Missouri.
Tennessee, Missouri this Saturday night. Somehow the Vols win. Somehow they do.
That's all that matters.
I'm just sold on them. I'm sold on them. Don't break my heart, Vols. Don't break my heart. Please don't. Vols are going to win. I don't know how that they'll get there, but they'll win 24-13. Vols will win. They will cover. We'll be 6-5. We'll go and beat Vandy's absolute candy ASS, and we'll be 7-5, and we'll be going to Florida bowl game. Vols 23 or 24-13 over the Mizzou Tigers.
What do you got, Dauber?
Hi, man. This was the game that I said I wasn't worried about. I was worried about Kentucky more than Missouri, just the way the schedules lined up and all that. And I'm still leaning that way. I think it is going to be a tough game. And then, like I said earlier, I was hoping for, the noon kick or the 3:30 kick. Didn't really want a night game, but just with the way that Mizzou has been struggling offensively, the schedule, the way it lines up with them coming off of Georgia and then Florida, us having a bye week, I think it is going to be time for us to get a little redemption in Columbia. Check the weather. It's supposed to be overcast and chilly, lows in the 30s. But
perfect football weather.
Talking weather.
I really look for this team to establish the run and kind of build that going. I think Garantano is going to start, and I think they will roll him into the game. Try to get him involved, throwing the ball early and taking advantage of the back end of Missouri's defense. I'm going to go with 28-13 Tennessee.
Man, you guys have so much confidence in an offense that I just don't have confidence in. I have confidence in the defense, and Missouri's offense is struggling. They are struggling to put up points. Tennessee's defense is trending up, playing good football. I'm just terrified. I'm so terrified of Tennessee's offense being able to move the football against Missouri. And I'm really picking with my heart here because this game has me scared to death. But I'm going to say Tennessee 14, Missouri 10. And I'm going to go on record and say half of those points from Tennessee come from either the defense or special teams. But I'm picking with my heart and saying 14-10
really?
Tennessee. Man, I'm so
scared. We're going to struggle on offense that bad after a bye week.
The Missouri's defense is no joke. It's not like when we go back to that UAB game and everybody's talking about how great UAB's defense is and their numbers and blah 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 when they've been playing ETSU every week. This
what do
Missouri
you think Janie's done for the last 14 days? Set around 8 pals hot dogs?
I don't know, man. Were you were scared of UAB? This one's got me terrified.
Yeah, that's a trap game.
It's
an SEC game.
It showed, didn't it?
This is an UAB. SEC game. Pruitt's mad at Odom for calling him out over trying to steal players. They absolutely annihilated this last year. Somebody said it in the chat earlier. They were running up the score late in the game, throwing in the end zone. Jeremy Pruitt's going to have his football team fired up. Heck, I may change my prediction.
Do it. Change it. Change it right now.
I may change it. No, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. But
he will.
I will say this
lunchtime.
Yeah.
I will say this, Dauber. If Tennessee establishes the run Saturday, like you said, they're going to win more than 24-13. If Tennessee establishes
that's a huge
the run, I know it
gigantic.
is. I know it. It'll be more like 30-13.
Well, I said 28-13.
Oh my
Well,
goodness, that's hilarious. I
I'd
hope
say
you're right,
it's gonna be
JP.
2 more points more.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, and we will
I just want to
celebrate.
win. I'll take a 3-2 victory as far as it goes. You
We'll
know,
celebrate together, boys. We'll
that's
celebrate
right.
together, and I will tell
Late.
JP he was right all along. But that is going to wrap it up for Talking Balls, episode number 71. As soon as this finishes processing, jump down in those comments. Let us know your predictions for this game against Missouri on Saturday.
We'll
Revolves, what?
catch you after the Missouri game for post
Yeah,
game.
no tailgate game on Saturday. No tailgate Saturday unless something changes, but we will communicate that to you guys. Revolves JP for Dauber. We're still family. We're still here. We're still together. I just got one thing left to say, and that is go Big Orange.
And we're left to move on without him. The songs howl like me, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive. Black and white headlights pierce the coals, blazing arrows, burning me to the marrow. But fire brings peace as well as it brings fear. You're the only thing I hear, and I want that. The songs howl like me, poets at an arcade, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.